you play sports long enough, and I don't care what sport it is, you are going to deal with some adversity as the UTC Mock softball team lost 2 games this past weekend to Western Carolina at home. We're going to dive into that with the head coach, Frank Reed, in just a moment here. I'm assistant coach Greg Larnerd and host of The Word with G under the Chatted Up Sports umbrella. Welcome to another edition of Mocs Softball Weekly. Follow us all over social media at Chatted Up Sports. Also, wherever you get your podcasts, please like, subscribe, follow all of the things on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Without further ado, let's get to the head coach of the UTC Mocs in his 24th year at the helm. It is Mr. Frank Reed. Good morning, Coach. How are you on this Tuesday morning?
Well, a little cooler. I don't like the cold weather coming back in, but other than that, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Yeah, we are going to be inside today, which is a little weird during like the spring if there's not actual rain or something happening to be inside. But yeah, we'll be inside for practice today. As you said, the weather's cooling down. It just gets a little bipolar. It was funny, Coach. I was looking at pictures. Something came up on one of my social medias from like, hey, like a year ago, like here's a picture of you a year ago. And it was me and Scotty sitting on our buckets at the other end of the dugout. I had my big coat on. I don't think I had a winter hat, but my hood was up and just kind of all bundled up. And then this past weekend ended up being pretty warm where I was sitting there, with like short sleeves and shorts and whatnot. So it's weird how the weather can kind of change on a dime. So hopefully we get some good weather this weekend at Furman. Let's talk about the week that was for our softball team. And I want to go back to last Wednesday against Jacksonville State because we didn't get a chance to talk about that game. The Mocs do come out on top. We were at home. We found a way to beat Jacksonville State, a good Jacksonville State team, 3-2. Talk to me a little bit about that one. Taylor got the start in that one. Peja came in and closed it out. And the offense, did just enough to find a way to get the win. Kaylee Snell had a really good game. She went 3 for 3 and not somebody who's usually used to driving in runs, but that's kind of where our lineup is right now. You need different people to step up because sometimes the middle of the order isn't able to get the job done the way that they need to.
Yeah, you can go back past that game. It's been a little concerning. We talked to the team about leaving runners on base, key situations, trying to push those runs across. And I think even in that game, I don't have the exact number in my head, but we left quite a few runners on base. And we just can't do that. And I've been seeing that happen more so the last 3 or 4 games, and just really concerned. And that carried over into the series with Western Carolina. Even our win on Friday night, we left a lot of runners on base, and also a ton of runners on base the last 2 ball games on Saturday. So you just can't do that. You've got to make yourself aware. Number one, we kept talking about it with the team. I tell them I don't like these feelings. I feel it. I see it coming on. I see what we're getting into a pattern, and I think we can't continue to be successful and be in that pattern. And unfortunately, we didn't bust out of that. I don't think we left 20-plus runners off on base in 2 ball games. A hit here, a hit there, we win handily. So you can't put any blame on anything else. We got decent pitching. We got actually really good pitching. We got great defense. And it all boils down to the 3 things you got to do well. We didn't put the ball in play and hit the ball with authority when it counted. Scattered hits. I think we had maybe the last game we had 10. But that's been the pattern. We got to get out of it today. You mentioned inside. We are. The reason we're going inside is we can get a ton more swings inside. We can have, as many as 10 or 12 stations, 3 of them almost simulated live. So we're going to hit a ton today, work on some different things that we talked about, understanding pitch, and we're, understanding how we adjust to those pitches in the box. If nothing else, adjust just to upset the pitcher, make them try to do something different with you. But yeah, it wasn't a good week, a good day. I guess on Saturday. Hopefully we can go back and fix that. A lot of conference games still to be played, but sometimes you get yourself in a little bit of a hole. You have to depend on other people to help you out. So there's still going to be some upsets in the conference, I'm sure, and hopefully we're not part of that. we're part of actually making the upset, but not being part of having been upset.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to be on the other end like we were this past weekend. Now, I just went back and did some quick research and some quick math, coach, and just to give you the number, and this was kind of startling to me. The past week, last week, just the 4 games that we played against Western and Jacksonville State left 36 runners on base in 4 games.
Yeah. And the kids look at me when I say, I've been here, done that. I feel it. We can't do this. Let's snap out of this, or it's going to come back and haunt us. And it did. And obviously concerned that we hopefully it's a rude awakening for Saturday, and that we get out of that. But I think a little bit too is having the right people come up at the right time. How, who makes that third out, where you start off in your lineup. Sometimes you roll and you're right where you need to be, starting at the top of the lineup or middle, whoever's hitting, and being able to be successful. But obviously that wasn't the case. Not fun at all. It doesn't taste very good on your way home.
No, it doesn't. And right now we sit at 26-11, just 10-7 at home. Generally not what you want to do at home, not really taking care of business. And we have some midweek games left at home. We have one more conference series left at home. So it may not be the worst thing that we're getting out onto the road. But before we go to the road and we talk about this coming weekend against Furman, I just want to kind of backtrack a little bit. And you kind of hit on the adversity that the girls are going through. And I just did the math, and we had 32 hits in that past week as well. So like you mentioned before, like the hits are there. We're just scattering them. You just can't get that big hit with runners in scoring position. It's not coming at the right time, and seems to be like a little bit fluky that, hey, like maybe it'll turn around. But just talk to me about your experience with dealing with offenses in the past that you've had it and different teams that have struggled, with getting big hits, and how you deal with adversity on the softball field and maybe even away from the softball field.
I talk a lot about luck. You got to be lucky. Give me all the luck, we're going to win a lot of ball games. People argue with that. They say you make your own luck. I thought we made our luck. I thought we made our opportunities with the hits that we've had. They equal the number of runners we had on base. So, we had two runners hit by batted balls. I have never played a softball game, I don't think ever, that obviously that happens during the year, maybe once, maybe twice, but have it to happen twice in the same game is really unusual. One of them could have been a really big run scoring opportunity for us, but it just didn't happen. So, and the funny thing about it was going oppo is something that we've really worked on. Going oppo with our hitter, they went oppo, hit behind the runner, and the runner got hit. So one of them, probably could have dodged maybe. The other one was just a shot. You're there, you're frozen, you get hit. That's what happens. But that's a little luck. We had one, I think, Mason Sellers hit down the line, an inches foul. It goes fair. 2-run score. We probably win that game. So you got to have a break, luck, whatever you want to call it, along the way, and maybe we can. But let me back up a minute. We've had some opportunities, and we've had some opportunities to have a break or luck leading up to the games that we've won. So maybe we got to get back on the track, get back on the luck train.
How do we get back on the luck train?
I don't know. I don't know.
I was going to say, does it come with just, hard work and just getting back after it and hitting a lot? Like, what have you found in the past that is effective with teams that have struggled hitting? Is it just going out there and doing a bunch of drills? Is it seeing live pitching? Is it a combination? Like, what do you think is most effective in that way, since you've seen a lot of softball? Just
keep letting them know that we're a good team. We're going to just get a break, get a hit. You're in a slump. You've seen it. You're in a slump. You've been to play 15 times. You hadn't gotten a hit. All of a sudden, you hit a home run or you hit one up the middle, drive in a couple of runs, then the slump goes away and your confidence comes back and you're really rocking. So we need to. I don't know that we're sort of in a slump when we got all the hits. So it's a combination. You're getting the hits, but you're not scoring the runs. I think it's a combination of maybe we get the right people up at the right time. Maybe go a little deeper into our bench. with some people that maybe could drive some runs in and give them some opportunities. I've been thinking about that.
Yeah, it's something definitely starting to consider here because there's girls on the bench that are looking and saying, "Hey, look, somebody isn't getting the job done. Hey, give me that opportunity. I can also not get the job done just as well as they can." But it's just finding a way to utilize those girls in the best way that you possibly can. I wanted to dive into just the ability to, like you talked about, getting that big hit and finding some of those opportunities. And you talked about trying to change some things up. And your biggest thing was always, hey, I don't want to mess with the winning lineup. And then we mess with the lineup and we lose 2 ball games. So how are you feeling about the changes that you made this past weekend? It was dropping Aislinn Sellers from 4 to 8, and then bumping up just about everybody else kind of in that lineup, moving Lexi from 8 to 6, bumping Jace up to 4, Jace up to 5, Presley up to 4. How are you feeling about those changes, and why did you make that move at that time?
Well, we weren't getting the production we had out of our 3, 4, and 5 they're bunched together, and they were struggling a little bit, and so I felt like just to bust them up, and move 5 up to 4, drop 4 down, just to bust the lineup up a little bit, maybe give us a little different look. Obviously, if it works, and we look great. But hindsight 2020, if I could go back, probably wouldn't. I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I just kept what we had. Like I said, my old school training tells me don't mess with the winning lineup, and I did, and come back. We got beat 2 ball games, so probably going to go back to the lineup we had. So see how that works. Just maybe use more people off the bench to hit in situations if we don't think they're hitting in those spots.
Yeah, absolutely. And those people, you mentioned, we've given opportunities to Bailey Pitts and Abby Bunn have been kind of the 2 main stays off the bench. Is there anybody else that you're looking at that you said, hey, maybe I want to give them a little bit more of an opportunity, possibly? Maybe that depends on how they work this week. I don't know. Just thought I'd throw that question out there to
you. Yeah. Probably not one I'm going to answer. I've got some people in mind. I don't want to get anybody all excited, get them all pumped up, or get them nervous about, hey, he's going to call on me and I'm not going to be ready, that type of thing. I think it'll be spur of the moment. But we have some kids that I think maybe can do that. We'll just see how it plays out.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this weekend. We're heading to Furman, back on the road for us this weekend. In your experience with Furman, what do you feel like we need to do to be successful? And, look, we are 7-2 away from home this year, so that's good. Furman is coming off getting swept at the hands of UNCG. They are 13-25 overall, 3-6 in the conference. But as we've found out this past weekend, you cannot underestimate anybody.
Well, everybody gets up to play us. That's sort of a pat on the back to the team, I guess. Chattanooga softball, we've been there. We've won some championships. They don't like that, and I don't blame them. If I was in the league, I wouldn't like it either. So I wouldn't have a hard time getting up for that team. There's teams that we play that we don't have a hard time getting up for. They make it easy, in the way they sort of treat us, whatever. But that's okay. I love it, at the end of the day. But Furman's one of those. Furman, program is notoriously pretty strong, and they don't like their situation either. They like being at home, probably getting down close to, I don't know if it'd be senior day for them, be getting close maybe, but having us come in there in their house, they're not going to be happy. It's Chattanooga. They're going to play their best ball game. Everybody does. If you look back at the stats, the people we play, everybody pretty much plays their best games, some of their best games against us. And so compliment to us, but we got to be prepared for that. We not to take anything away from the conference or the teams we've played inside the conference, but we've played stronger teams this year in midweeks or in tournament and been very successful. So, but there's not that competition between each other, on a day-to-day basis like we have in the conference. So, we play a top team and we beat them. It is what it is. But everybody's a top team. I'm trying to say when we get into conference play.
Yeah, they are. Look, you can kind of throw the records out the window. Look, I'm just going to throw this one out there just for the viewers, but they're 6-14 at home. They haven't played particularly well at home. They've only got 2 home conference series left against us and then against Mercer to finish out the year, to your point about it being close to being sort of their senior day. And we only have 1 home conference series left as well ourselves coming up in a couple of weeks against Sanford. So, look, they're all big at this point. Everybody gets up to play each other. The Southern Conference, like you said, you kind of throw the records out the window and you have to come ready and prepared to play every single day. Let me ask you this question. This might be a hard one to answer, but and if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to, but I want to get your perspective on it from this past weekend. Do you feel like we underestimated, the girls underestimated Western Carolina, or do you think they just kind of played up to our level and they just, like you kind of talked about, everybody sort of gets up to play Chattanooga? Or do you think we were just maybe just a little unlucky where, like you said, a couple of breaks here and there, things go differently?
Personally, just for me, I don't take anybody for granted. Conference series, it doesn't matter. We've already talked about that. How the girls feel, I think probably they probably look at stats and look at what teams have done in the past. Probably a lot more so and put it, into their head more so than we do. Western came off a really bad series with Sanford. Sanford scored a ton of runs on them. Then they go to Tennessee, and Tennessee only beats them 4-0. So, but rebuilt their confidence a little bit coming down here. So they had something to prove to themselves. Just personally, they wanted to come in somebody else's house and score some runs. I think we dimmed that a little bit on Friday night, but they didn't let that bother them. It came back on Saturday and put the ball in play a lot and made us make the plays. And, and we did, like I said, we did pretty much everything we needed to do except even on the hitting side. I mean, if I showed you the stats and not showed you the score, you would say, I think you would say we won. Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean you won if you hadn't put the runners in, you hadn't scored the runs when you got them in score position. So I looked across just in college ball altogether. Baseball followed a little bit, how teams are doing, and I saw that there was a lot of upsets. People got beat this week that normally you wouldn't think would gotten beat. So, I mean, I know we're not allowed in NCAA to bet, but I tell you what, if I was a gambler, I wouldn't gamble on anything that has a ball and a bat in front of it because you don't ever know. It's I think a little easier than a football game or a basketball game, but not this sport, not what we're doing. I think it's just too much out there to be able to do that.
Like you said, there are going to be other upsets that happen within the conference, and teams that shouldn't beat other teams are going to end up beating them. It's kind of a long conference season. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and it always seems like it doesn't. It's very rare, and I would defer to you in this because you've been around the game a lot longer than I have, and you've seen a lot of teams from Chat State to UTC that. It's very rare that you go wire to wire with not a lot of adversity and you win just about all your games and you run away and hide with the conference championship. So it seems like at some point during a season, your team's going to deal with some adversity. To me, it also always comes down to how do you deal with that adversity as a group, as a team, as a coaching staff? How do you deal with that adversity dictates whether or not you are going to be successful during the season, or if you're just going to fold up shop and say, it's been fun. We'll just kind of play out the string like you've kind of talked about in the past.
Well, one thing I tell them, I've been here and done that. So I've seen these things happen. And, what I hate it for is our senior group. I'm going to roll back around another year and be able to do all this stuff over again with a new group of seniors and trying to win championships. This is the last go around for a lot of our seniors. They're going to transition into the work world and maybe playing some slow pitch softball on Friday nights. And so this is huge for them. And so as we've gotten attached to those 8 seniors moving forward, we want obviously the best for them. They've been fortunate. They've won a couple of championship rings and they've been successful. I want them to go out on a good note. And I think a lot of it's going to be back in their court. Maybe just not holding themselves, but the rest of the team accountable. Hey, this is mine. I need you to step up. I need you to have a different attitude going into the game. Make sure that we're not taking anybody for granted. And there again, you go back and you study the stats and you look at the things that you've done. We didn't do anything really that wrong other than not hit with runners in score position. We hit. I think one game we had 10 hits and got beat. So that's not supposed to happen. And there again, what changes that? Just falling in the right time with the lineup, a ball just falling in the gap, a ball, just scoots in, through the shortstop. Somebody make an error. A lot of those things come into play.
All right, my last question for you, Coach, is we want to end this thing on a lighthearted note. And generally, like, I'll think about these questions that I want to ask you. Some are a little bit more serious, some a little more serious. When it,
You're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, you got me back?
I'm back. You back?
All right. Yes, there we go. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My internet just crapped out for a second, and I just lost all connection there. So I'm glad you stayed on. Apologize to the watchers, the listeners that are listening back to this or listening to it live. And we just had a little silence there. But my question of the day was going to be, if you could build your ideal sandwich, what would be on it?
Okay, I'm going to answer that question, but pardon me, I want to mention a group of people that have been really instrumental in what we're doing with Chattanooga softball. Outside of actually playing the game, has been our promotions people and our operations person, Jay Schultz, being our head guy there and taking care of all the teams coming in and out and running the show, and Ashley Leto and Hannah Mitchell doing a lot of the promotion stuff for us. Just always making us feel like we're special, and I just wanted to do a shout out for them because we did our Scrappy Awards last night. They were there involved. I just want to have an opportunity to bring them up. But back to the sandwich thing. I'm a big Firehouse Subs, fully involved sandwich. We talk about sandwiches and things, what I put on it. I like a peanut butter and banana sandwich really a lot. That's pretty special to me. I can eat it various different ways, put different stuff on it. But I like the ham, turkey, sandwich, fully involved sandwich at Firehouse Subs. Maybe they'll offer me up one for bringing them up today. But I like that sandwich a lot. Something heated, a little warm. I'm not really big on cold sandwiches, but I guess when you get hungry, you eat whatever.
What is a fully involved sandwich? Like what does that come on? Like what is the fully involved sandwich?
It's on like a hoagie type bun, I guess, or something. It's got ham and cheese, ham and turkey and cheese, and lettuce, tomato, onion, whatever. They put some kind of special sauce on it too, and it's warm, and I really like it. I'm a big Reuben guy too. I like Reuben sandwiches, but the kraut's got to be just right.
Yeah. Very good. Well, look, we know you love Firehouse. They would be great if they wanted to sponsor us here. That would be fantastic. Just anybody who's listening with Firehouse, if you want to do that, that would be awesome.
Right. Cool.
But yeah, we're going to get back after it this week, Coach, in terms of the pitching, the hitting, the defense, all that good stuff. Starts with hitting on Tuesday, and we'll kind of go from there. I appreciate you taking the time, as always, to talk to us about Chattanooga Mocs softball.
All right. Have a great day. See you in a while.
Follow us all over social media at Chatted Up Sports. Again, want to thank Coach Reed for joining us here this afternoon. Be good. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. And as always, go Mocs.